Hello, hi friends, here we go. It's Sunday night and tonight we're going to make a cute card together. I'm just making the one card tonight, but I promise you we'll make it worth it. It'll be lovely. So here we go. I'm actually going to switch straight over to the desk, and I'm talking tonight about a new set or a new bundle that's available as of now. So some of you may have seen this set in the catalogue before. It's called Waterfall Canyon. And then the Waterfall Canyon, it does not have dies with it in the annual catalogue. So this is the annual catalogue I'm talking about here, the May 22 to April 23 catalogue. But the stamp set is standalone. And you might notice there's also on the opposite pages, we've also got the Mountain Air set and the Jar of Flowers set, because these particular stamp sets are what we call reversible stamps. So you can use both the detail side of the stamp and the back of the stamp also to color in the areas. So it works for all these sets, but tonight I'm focusing on the Waterfall Canyon one. So I'm just going to move that out. If you're looking for it, it's on page 94 of your annual catalogue. Okay. So this is the stamp set called Waterfall Canyon. Now, before we get too far, I just need to say that everything you see me using tonight is available for purchase. So anything that you think, oh, I'd like to own that and add it to my collection, you can do that by heading over to my online store, which you'll find on both my blog and my Facebook page. And I will put the details of that in the description below here as well if you're over on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to start out with a couple of basics, and we're going to create a scene with this beautiful set, and then we're going to use the dies to add a bit of texture. And I've decided just to go with tonight, we're just going to do it nice and simple on basic white cardstock. And I've cut, you can see here, I've cut a rectangle out that is going to be big enough to accommodate this scene. So let's start by adding, I always find easiest to start, just personally my experience has been to start with the waterfall first and then build everything out from there. So you're going to need block E for that. It's not going to fit on block D. It's quite a decent size stamp, and it's the biggest stamp in the set. Then all the others fit on smaller blocks. I've got my Night of Navy ink, which I'm just going to sponge or tap over the stamp. And then we're going to pop this pretty much in the middle, very close to the middle of this rectangle. So I'm using one of the stitched rectangles. And you can see it actually comes out really nicely. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean this stamp. Grab my Stampin' Scrub for that. And I'm just going to quickly spray some mist on here. I've said this before on some of my videos, but this item, the Stampin' Scrub, was the very first Stampin' Up product I ever bought at my very first workshop. I only went to one workshop and I knew straight away I wanted to join because it was just, I could see it being so much fun, and I wanted to do it because I just saw what the girl who was running the party was doing, and it just looked like she was having a really good time, and I thought, yep, I could do that. So I signed up, and that is 16 years ago this coming week. Oh my goodness. Now what I'm going to do with this stamp is I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to turn it over and put it back down so the back of the stamp is actually face up now. So the detail is actually down towards the block, and I've got the back of the stamp facing up. And I'm going to use, you can use any color you like, but I really quite like the combo of Night of Navy and Pool Party. And I'm just going to tap over the back of the stamp, and we're going to line this up. Now it's not perfectly symmetrical, so it's not going to be a perfect match, but what you want to do is you want to have this halfway line where the double, it's like a double waterfall. That halfway line is going to match up. So then when we pick it up, you can see what that looks like. Okay, now you could just leave it like this if you wanted to, and this is totally personal preference. You can also come in with an aqua painter or a water painter and blend a little bit of that together if you want to. But on basic white, it doesn't make as much difference as it would on, say, watercolor paper. But you can see I'm getting a little bit of ink picked up with the water, and it's blending it out a little bit. The Night of Navy particularly moves around a little bit with water, more so than the Pool Party does. I'm just going to leave it like that. I think it looks quite nice as it is. All right, so now we've got all these other stamps. All right, what are we going to do with those? Well, I'm going to grab the first two, which is the cliff face. So you can see one cliff face is going to go here and one is going to go here. Now the detail side, I've actually got the detail up. Okay, I want the detail side out, not the back of the stamp, but the right side of the stamp. You can feel the detail with your finger. And I'm going to use soft suede ink because I want this to be reasonably dark, not too dark, but I'm just going to go and do both stamps. And when you turn them over, you'll see that one sort of lines up. So, the cliff is coming down to meet the waterfall here in the middle. And I'm going to just line that up there like that. And do the other side like this. All right, so now I have kind of cliffs, but they kind of look, with the white doesn't really go in there. So what we need to do is actually fill in some of that white detail. So I'm going to clean my stamps again, and you're going to see there's a pattern here, what I'm doing. Clean them. And I'm going to use the back of the stamp to colour in the cliffs. However, because these are not symmetrical, okay, you're going to actually be doing a switcheroo. So I'm going to pick this one up and have the back of it up. Same with this one. Pick it up, and now the back is up. And I'm going to use a lighter colour to fill in this because I don't want the whole lot to be all soft suede. I want some lighter coloured like I did with here. I've got the dark detail and the background colour is lighter. This is crumb cake, and now I'm using the back of my stamp. And you'll notice you have to switch when you change them over. You're switching to colour it in. I'm switching it. So this is the one before that we did the detail on the right side, but I'm filling it in on the left. This little guy as well. Let's ink him up. And there we go, just like that. All right, can you kind of see how that's coming together? Now, once again, if you want to, you could get your water painter and kind of blend that together a little bit. If you wanted to, totally up to you. Something I like to do particularly, but it's not mandatory. You could just leave it as it is. All right, let's put those ones away. Now, as you can see, we're kind of building a scene here, and you guys know I love to build a scene, right? So here we go. I do want to mention on the 24th of September coming up, I have my very first craft along event, which I'm really excited for, and I'm excited to make the projects with you. Now, if you placed an order of over $60 with me during the month of August, then you will be getting in the mail middle of the month. You'll be getting a probably about the third week of the month. You'll be getting a supply packet to make the project that I'm going to be making live online at 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 24th of September. Now, don't panic if you're not actually available that day. You can always watch the replay and then make it up in your own time. Now, I'm going to use a smaller. I've got my little tree here. This is the back, and you can feel like there's a little bit of detail there. I can feel that that's the right side. So that's the side I want to have up. And I'm going to use, what block will I use? Block C, I think, for that one. And then I've got there's a couple of other, like there's littler trees, and that's the back. I can feel that's got the detail, so that's the front. All right, so I'm going to bring in a couple of greens. Let me close up my ink pads that I've got here because I'm finished with these colors right now. I might need the soft suede again, depending on if we decide to add some rocks, which we might. And I'm going to get rid of don't need my pool party or my night of navy again. All right, but I've got these two different sized trees here, and I'm going to use evening evergreen. And what else? I think I'll use something a little brighter, and mint macaron. So the three greens I'm using are mint macaron, garden green, and evening evergreen. Okay, so they're the three colors, and I'm going to start with probably the darkest one. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I start with the lighter color. So I'm going to go one here and one here. right? And when you stamp it off, can I just tell you that when you stamp off Evening Evergreen, it equals Soft Succulent. So Soft Succulent is in the same color family as Evening Evergreen. When you stamp this off, if you stamp it full strength and then stamp it again, the color you get is very close to Soft Succulent. So that's kind of good to know. I hope you can see that there. So I'm going to also grab some Garden Green. I might use the smaller stamp now, the smaller tree. And let's like that. And just having a little bit of a mix of different greens is really nice. And it really does look like it's quite realistic looking. I'm going to go back to my bigger tree, but this time I'm going to use the mint macaron and fill in any bits that I've missed. And I'm going to, once again, kind of ink that off. Stamp that off. So doing like 2 stamps, 1 full strength and 1 a little less. Can you see that? That's how it's looking. Isn't this coming together nice? It's not a difficult stamp to use, a set to use. It's actually very easy, but I know a few people have said that it's quite overwhelming. And I think that's just because there's so many pieces to it, okay? But when you start using it, it's actually really, really good fun. Right, I do have these two little stamps here. Now these are to provide you, there's actually like ridges up here that if you want to have some little trees sitting right there at the very, very top, you can do that. I'm going to pop this one here. Let me get rid of my tree stand up there because I don't need that anymore. And let's pop that back in the set. All right, so I've got these little trees, like I said. I'm just making sure I'm not putting it, that's the right side, so we want the back. So we just have the right side there. Now, I'm going to use, I think I'll use the Evening Evergreen. That's the darkest of the greens. And we're going to put our row of trees kind of in this ridge here, so they actually look like there's trees on that little ridge. Okay, and I'm also going to add some to the very, very tops of my, so I'll show you how that looks. See how we've got like trees in the distance, little pine trees? Really cute. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to clean that one up. And then the other one is right here. Make sure I put it on the right way. So it goes like that. And this one, once again, got the ridge here. And I'm going to use some more right up there on the very top. All right, so it looks like we've got little pine trees kind of in the ridges in the distance there. It's really nice. All right. So in the foreground here, I thought it might be rather nice to have some rocks. And we've got this great little rock like grouping. These here. And let's stamp them on a separate piece. Now you could stamp them straight on here, but I'm actually going to stamp them because I'm going to use the dies to cut these out. So just making sure I've got it around the right way. And I'm going to put this on a block. Where's the right block for that? There we go. That's good. And I'm going to use my soft suede ink for that. Making sure I've got my colour ready to go. Looking rather nice. I'll do a second one just in case I need them, but I'm not sure that I will. All right. So there are, like I said to you, dies that are going to help us make this a little bit more textured and realistic looking. So we've got our stamps, but we also have the the Waterfall Canyon. They're just called Waterfall dies. And here they are. Should have brought them over earlier, but I didn't. Right, so let's open them up. Now, don't be overwhelmed when you see these. I know for a few people they're a bit scared of them, but actually they match up with the various elements in the stamp set, and then there's some extra standalone dies as well. There are 31 dies in this set. My advice to you, I haven't done it myself yet, but my advice to you is the one for the rocks that we just stamped, is to actually get a pen and draw around all of your dies on this sheet, so you know if there's any missing and you know where they go, because otherwise it could be really hard to put them all back. One thing you might notice is there's some little birds. These look really cute. You can cut those out with black, just black cardstock, and pop them in the sky, and they look fantastic. But what I am going to do before I'm going to cut out the rocks that we've just done. And I've also got these little trees. See these 3 little trees? And I've already got a couple of these. So there's an evening evergreen one and a garden green one. But I'm actually going to do some more. And we're going to cut a few more so that we can add some more texture to our tree. So you don't have to, but it does look really, really cool. And here you can see this rock die beautifully cuts out this little rock grouping here. So let's bring our machine in. And where are my plates? I'm always misplacing my plates. It's just seems to be my thing lately. And if we can't find them in the next 5 seconds, then I'll be using the other machine. And as soon as I say I can't find them and get the other machine, that's when I'm going to find them. So that's just how that works. But anyway, I can't see them, so I'm going to grab the big machine, and we'll zoom out so you can see a little better. So let me just pull that out so we can see the big machine more clearly when I use it. As I drop the plates on the floor, that's okay. Here we go. Right, so I've got my base plate here. Whoop, no I don't. I need to pick up my base plate. There's the base plate. And then I've got my little adapter there. And then we've got the first plate, which is one of the clear cutting plates. And then let me grab my little rocks, and let's line them up. So these dies match your stamps perfectly, and it just gives you a whole different element texturally of how the stamp set is actually going to work on your cards. So it's really nice to have dies for them, to be honest, even though you can of course use it without the dies as well. Right, so there we have our little rocks. Aren't they cute? And while I'm here, I don't know if I'm going to need it or not, so I might as well cut the other set of rocks as well, because I may end up using some of these. So let me just pop them back on. You could use a post-it note to hold these in place. I'm just winging it, but you can, whoops, and then I moved it. You can use a post-it note so that they are less apt to move. You know what, I did it again. Oh no, look, it's perfect. I went back to where it was. Okay, let's take that through. We have our rocks, and let me get rid of that. I'll just pop that straight back into the pack like that. And then we've got our these guys. Oops, I forgot to do them. Well, we don't have to do them all right now, but let me see. So I've got a evening evergreen one, which I think might look better on this side. And I have a garden green one, which I think will look better on this side. And I usually like to throw in a couple of mint macaron ones as well, because they add, having the 3 colours really seems to add a bit more texture, which is what I'm going for. But let's just put on these couple to show you to start with. And then, where did the other one go? Did it stick to my fingers? Have I lost it already? No, I've lost the plot. That's what I've lost. Oh, there it is. I don't know where it was, but it suddenly appeared like magic. You guys can laugh at me at my expense. It's all good. There we go. That one there. And I will add a couple more. But anyway, in the meantime, we have our rocks. So here's some rocks. And you could just put them down the bottom here because they actually look quite nice. But what I like to do is chop them up because I think it looks really cool. And I'm going to... there's a couple of obvious places where they can be chopped. And I'm going to have a couple sitting here on this side. And then I'm going to just make that edge not quite so sharp. And we'll put a couple more on this side so that we have a little bit of rocks. And if you want to, you can just stick them on like that, or you could put them on, and I'm going to, on dimensionals, which, like I said before, gives you a bit more texture. So let's throw those on there. And this is looking very cool. So isn't it a lovely set? I think a lot of people haven't known what to do with this set, but I tell you what, if you love scene building, and you know I do, it's a great set to work with. You can watercolor with it. If you're doing it on watercolor paper, then I highly suggest using an aqua painter and adding extra texture with your aqua painter. Okay, so there we go. We've got our little rocks. Now, I've actually cut previously a frame, and this is going to go over the top like as if it was a picture frame. So I'm actually going to use some more dimensionals. Use one in each corner. I want it to look like a picture. And then one in each corner there, and one halfway down the side so nothing sags, because no one likes that, right? And what I suggest you do is you grab yourself your card base. I'm using Pool Party because it matches in with my, in fact, I just noticed this is not cut very well, so I need to cut it better. Oh, Crumpet's just turned up. He's watching me. Ever feel like you're being watched? That's me right now, because Crumpet is watching me. Sitting on the table, watching what I'm doing. Probably hoping I'm going to use some ribbon, because boy, does he love ribbon. All right, so this is going to go on here like this, just like that. And I'm going to use my Tombow multi-purpose glue just to pop it on. I'm going to move it up a little bit higher than middle, so I've got room at the bottom to put a sentiment. So there's a bit more space down the bottom here. And it's just kind of centered in from the edges. And then this little guy, have I pulled the backs off? Some of them I have and some of them I haven't. So that one, no. All right. So this is going to go right over that edge. Whoop, I need to move it a little better. I want to line it up so it's centered from one side to the other. You could also, I've made a white frame, but you could also make a gold frame. That would look really nice. Or use the brush metallics and make a frame with those. All right, seeing as we've used navy in here, I think I'm going to use navy again to do a greeting. And there's no greetings in the Waterfall Canyon set, so we need to go somewhere else for our greeting. So I'm thinking a couple of sets that have got, there's quite a number of sets that have got, I mean, I've got one here that I did on another occasion that says wishing you the very best. That's a nice one, but I'm thinking maybe something a little more, I don't know. All right, let's go with, I might have to come up with one after the event, because I'm going to put it down here. I want something long and thin. Actually, on Friday night, we used the Apple Harvest set, And that actually would be nice because that's got some really beautiful sentiments in it. And it's got one that's long and thin, and that's what I want, a long, thin sentiment. So, I cannot see it right at this moment, but I know it's here, so I'll have to find it, and then we'll just do a greeting down the bottom after the event. But there you go. So just a quick one from me tonight. I know this is really quick because on Friday night I did a whole hour, and tonight I'm just doing half an hour. If you are placing an order with me of $60 or more this month in September, you're going to be getting the packet for next month's Craft Along event, which I'll be doing later in October. All the dates and everything are going to be up about that soon. Right now, I'm not live here tonight because I'm actually pre-recording this because I'm currently away. But when I get back, all the details of that will be released, and you'll hear a lot more about it on the Craft Along event for the watercolor class on the 24th of September. So I'll certainly be sharing all my ideas with you at that point, and you'll get to see lots of fun things. We are going to make we're going to make one main project with the watercolor class, but I'm also going to be getting you to do some practice and samples of some other things. And then there'll be a whole bunch of tutorials with watercolor techniques that you can avail yourself of. You can either purchase those for $20 Australian, or you can, if you've placed an order this month, August, you will actually get those tutorials sent to you for free. So there you go. Lots and lots of reasons to shop with Stampin' Up, especially since it's celebration as well until the end of the month. So there we go. All right. So I hope everyone has a fabulous week ahead. I'm going to be coming home fairly soon, and I should be back around next weekend. So I hope that everyone has a safe and happy week ahead, and I will see you all again really soon. See you guys. Bye-bye.